So this is an example of a logo that's been drawn using Illustrator. The white area is known as the artboard, and there's various components that make this up. These objects, if you look on the layers level, all come in as separate things. So if, for instance, the dolphin, if I take the eye off, the dolphin disappears. So automatically, as you draw on the artboard, Illustrator will put each object on its own little kind of sub layer of the layer that it's on. You'll notice on mine I've also got a template in the background that I can switch on and off, and that's what we're going to have a look at in a moment. But you can see that there's various color fills, gradient fills, curves, arcs, some text, bits and pieces like that, all the things that make up a logo. Let's have a quick look at how we do that. So I've got a folder. Inside my folder I've got a sketch drawing you can see here that I did. Basically I used a pencil, I drew my logo design out. I haven't got the text written on there, but this is the shape that I want to actually create, and I've scanned that as an image file, and I'm going to bring that image file into Illustrator and basically use it as a guide to start tracing off. I'm obviously going to try and make mine a bit smoother and a bit nicer, but this is my rough design that I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to open up myself a new file. I'm going to go for File. So I only need one artboard in this one. 1000 pixels by 800 pixels should be big enough for what I need. I'm going for RGB color, and I'm going for 300 pixels per inch, so the highest resolution it'll cope with. Hit OK. That opens up my artboard. I need to now bring into my layers menu the hand-drawn sketch that I've scanned. So I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to choose my thing here. But before I actually click Place, I'm going to click Template, so it knows that this is bringing in my file as a template file. So hit Place. There it is. Okay, so here is my my image. It's been put in. You can see now I've got another layer called template layer. Now the template layer basically is it reduces the opacity, so it looks kind of more faint. You can still turn it on and off, but basically I'm going to use this as my layer to help me guide my drawing. But I'm going to be working on layer 1, so you need to make sure that you're not on this layer, you're on this layer when you actually do any drawing. Okay, now so before we start, something that's really useful to know. Keyboard shortcuts. If you hold down Control and press plus, you zoom in. If you do Control and minus, you zoom out. I've got a few things switched on here, and you can open things from the Windows panel here. For the ones that I've switched on, I've got my navigator view. Now navigator, if I zoom in using my Control plus again, you can see the navigator window over here allows me to grab this square, and wherever I position it on there, arranges it on here. Another way of doing something similar is to hold down the space bar. As soon as I press the space bar, it turns into a hand, and I can move things around in order to work on them more efficiently. Okay, so apart from that, all you other need to have is your color switches, because you're going to put some colors in here to use afterwards. Okay, we're going to draw this curvy shape here in a moment using the pen tool, but what we want to try and do is basically put up an anchor point at the beginning and on kind of corners, and then another anchor point everywhere where there's a curve. Now this is a curve that goes this way, this is a curve that goes that way, so I want to have one on the outside, one on the inside of the curve, and the same on this side here, one on the outside, one on the inside. Before I do that, I've noticed I've got my fill switched on as white. So basically, if I draw a line at the moment, let me demonstrate for you. If I draw a line, draw a shape, it's filled with white, so I can't see the shape behind it. So I don't want to do that. Now what I would do is, if I'd done that, I would click on, select it and turn it back to see-through. Okay, so that's what I want it to look. So let's get rid of this one, press delete, and we'll start again. So we're on no fill, black line, and I got the pen tool going. So I'm going to click from the beginning to the outside of this curve, to the inside of this curve, back down to the bottom, straight across, outside of the curve, and roughly inside of the curve, and then back to join them up. Okay, so what I want to do now, I'm going to change my tools, and I'm going to go for this Convert Anchor Point tool. And I'm going to use this one to round these anchor points off. Now let me zoom in on this one and show you. Zoom it down. Okay, if I choose this tool now, you can see it's a different icon. I'll grab it and I'll pull. And what it's doing, if I twist it, you can see the shape. Now you've sometimes got to watch it doesn't go upside down, but that's going to produce a curve for me. I'm not going to edit that curve in a moment. I don't need to worry about it at the minute. I go to my next anchor point. I'll do the same thing. I'll grab and I'll drag. Now that one has twisted, so I'll pull that back the right way, so it's curving the right way. And I'm going to carry on doing that around there. So just zoom back out so we can see the whole thing again. So I've got another one here. Okay, and I've got another one here. And that one's gone the wrong way as well. So we're not worried at the moment that this thing looks a little bit not quite where I want it to be. I'm going to now choose between selection tools. So this selection tool allows me to select the whole thing. So if I wanted to put colour in it, I could do, but this one select just anchor points and things like that. So if I click on this anchor point, now I get the handles that allow me to change the arcs on it. So I can kind of start to play around with these things to try and make the curves go where I want them to go. And if I want to, I can move the arcs, the actual anchor points themselves up and down and around. But I'm just going to kind of play around with it until I get the shape pretty much the way I want it. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to leave it like that. Now I could always test it without the template behind to see what it would look like. Okay, but that's what I'm going to do at the moment. Okay, so now I've got a sealed shape. I can do some various things with that. So if I use this selection tool here, I can grab the whole shape, and if I wanted to, I can move that shape by grabbing on the line, dragging it across. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to do Control Z, put it back where it was. I can add colour to this thing. So if I chose to up here, I can go in and pick pink, and it fills that shape with that colour. Now if I want the line to be the same colour, I choose the stroke and make that pink as well. So later on you might want to do that to have a smoother shape so you don't see the outline. However, if you wanted to leave the outline a different colour, you also got the option here of clicking in where it says the point of it, the stroke, and if you use the up and down keys, you can actually change how big the point is to see what that would look like in different sizes.